to the ABA.
Well, that was pretty quick. That was very efficient. You know that you have another 17 seconds if you want them, or you can yield them for later.
I will yield.
Okay, great. All right, super. All right, great. And all of you, please correct me if I mispronounce your name. I apologize. But let me reset my clock, and let's see here. Reset. And Tijuana, you have the same question.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tijuana Barnes. I'm seeking the position of vice chair because I was an evening student when I first started law school, and I was unaware of the benefits of law school outside of my education. When I joined the American Bar Association, I was aware of networking opportunities, jobs, different conferences to improve my career, and I just want every law student to be able to enhance their career outside of their education. So I'm running for this office just to include everyone. Inclusion is important, and if you don't know the benefits, then you're not able to reap them. And I'm just here to ensure that everyone maximize their educational experience.
Great, super, super. And you have 11 seconds left. Alrighty, great. And we're going to ask the same question of William. We're going to reset the timer here. And William, same question goes to you. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I just want to thank y'all for doing this. I know we're kind of on the last leg here, and it may be a little aggravating, but I'm William Gray. I'm down here in North Carolina, where it's been hotter than a pair of sweatpants full of barbecue. But, you know, when I first started law school, I had no idea about the law student division, anything, and I found out about it while I was inundated with emails. I joined up for free membership and eventually sought out premium membership. Since I've been appointed as the ABA rep, I've done several things, talking to students at 1L workshops and things of that nature, and it's amazing the response I've gotten, and I found out awareness means so much. They want to do things. We have to make them aware. We have to provide them the opportunity. But if they're not aware, they're not going to be able to do that. You know, I would have probably joined earlier had I known these things. So I want to help others. You know, I'm here. If I get this position, I'm there to help. That is my goal.
Okay, great. That's you must have a timer because that was exactly 60 seconds. Great. Thank you for your responses. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to have some follow-up questions to your questions. We're going to give each of you a chance to follow up on each other's follow-up question, right? And so you'll each get 1 minute, with the exception of Ian, who will get 1 minute and 20 seconds, and Tijuana, who will get 1 minute and 11 seconds, just to be fair in terms of the allocation of time, okay? Okay, great. And so the first question is, Ian talked about, you mentioned that you have an understanding of why students want to become members of the ABA, in particular members of the Law Student Division. So I will follow up with you and ask you, why do you think students will want to become members of the Law Student Division of the ABA? And go ahead.
Absolutely. Students will want to become members of the ABA once they see everything that you can do with an ABA premium membership, premium in particular. One of the things that I will extol as vice chair is the ability to even run for national positions such as this one, and to be able to participate in national competitions. There are a lot of students who are really interested in writing competitions and things of the nature, and when you are a premium member, you'll be able to do things like that. A lot of students are very, very worried about bar prep and its expenses. You get bar prep materials. With Barber, you get $250 off. A lot of students are sweating through their classes. You get resources and materials. You get access to things that you just wouldn't normally get on your own. And one thing that I do want to do is connect students with senior lawyers who have had long distinguished careers in the ABA and show them, look what a long distinguished membership can get you in the ABA. Look at all of these things, all the networking opportunities that these can get you in the ABA, and students will want to join once they see what a distinguished career in the ABA can get you.
Got it, got it. You still have another 15 seconds or so to spare if you want them. Or you can yield them.
I can yield them.
Okay, great, great, super. Okay, great. This time we're going to go to William, and we're going to ask the same question of William. William, why do you think a law student will want to be a member of the Law Student Division, and why in particular how will you help us accomplish that? Go ahead.
And you had to excuse my hand movements. If you tie my hands up, I couldn't say 2 sentences. But since I've been out talking, and I've already talked to my dean of my school, and he's agreed to enroll all students, which is so great for the regular membership. But since I've been talking to the students, they love the networking ideas. Jobs are so difficult to come by nowadays. Campbell is an excellent school. It's not Harvard, it's not Duke, but it is an excellent school. We consistently dominate in bar passage rates, but still jobs are difficult to come by. And they love the idea of meeting people, making connections. They love the discounts that come, whether it be Quimby, whether it be Barbary. And I just love the response, like I say, that awareness that comes out. As far as, what I'm going to do, there's no cookie cutter answer. That would be up to each ABA reps. I want to be a facilitator. They know best what they need.
Okay, thumbs up. Thank you so much. Great. Now the same question is going to go to you, Tijuana. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
You are. It is Tijuana.
It is. Okay, good. Because
Yes.
I just want to. I don't ever want to pronounce anyone's name incorrectly.
No, it's okay.
I don't want to insult people. All right, great. So the same question goes to you, Tijuana. You will have 71 seconds to answer.
Thank you. I want to echo what the other candidates have said, because I think that is the main goal, is to increase membership, networking, job opportunities. But I also want to discuss that students will be interested in the divisions, centers, and commissions, because a lot of students come to law school and they don't know what they want to do. And if they become members of the ABA and sign up for the 5 free division centers or commissions, they can be able to explore different practice areas and go to conferences and network with people in those divisions and say, maybe I like this division, or maybe I don't like it. I came to law school wanting to do international law, and maybe it's something else. So it's a way for them to navigate, like that word, way for them to navigate the career. And also, as the vice chair, I will have not a one-size-fits-all approach to it, because I know a larger school may have different needs than a smaller school. So as the vice chair, I will make sure that we create a bank of ideas to meet the needs of each individual school, so we can have a personalized way to approach membership, so every student in every school can be able to. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. And I appreciate you all helping me out with the time and being cooperative with that. I've been on the other side of this, and I know it's difficult to sort of stop in the middle of an idea or something. And so thank you all for your cooperation with that. Great. So the next, we're going to follow up on the question that Tijuana had raised, or the answer that Tijuana had raised, which was the question of inclusion, right?
Yes.
And if you could speak a little bit more about inclusion and what that looks like for the Law Student Division and for the ABA at large, and you will each also get the chance to answer that same question. And you'll have, I guess, 1 minute to answer this question. And wait, and go. Thank you.
Well, I think the Law Student Division did a great step by making membership free. That was one step of including people from all different socioeconomic classes, but also allowing ABA reps to actually build relationships with their student body and letting them know about the perks of ABA membership. It's more than just a title. It's actually a duty that you have to fulfill and educate people on how to, what are the benefits. So if people can't be included if they don't know about it. So I would encourage the ABA reps to educate their student body about the membership benefits, and that's another way that they can be included. If you don't know, you can't benefit from it.
Got it. Great. Oh, I'm sorry, were you done?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So now you have 13 more seconds in the bank. Okay, great. Next, we're going to ask the same question. Let's see, we're going in reverse. That's right. So the next person to answer this question will be William. And let's reset the clock here. Okay, William, you'll have 60 seconds to answer the same question about
how about running the question by me one more time?
Sure. So Tijuana was mentioning that one of the reasons why she's running is because she sees is the opportunity to, and please correct me if I'm mischaracterizing what you said, the opportunity to engender greater inclusion within the ABA. And so if you could speak a little bit to that and how you see inclusion occurring or not occurring within the law student division, and what you might do to move the needle in any direction you see fit. Go for it.
So, I think it's wonderful. One of the positions we have is the delegate of diversity and inclusion. I think that you're going to have to work as a team on anything you do. Something you can do is, kind of kick ideas around. I have a disability. I have chronic heart problems. I've been on that side of the fence where they're telling you, no, you can't work here. We can't have someone that has that problem, risking alienating people. You might scare them away. And it hurts. It truly does. I think that we need to be cognizant. We need to be aware of things that we say have effects on people. We need to be somewhere that people want to go, and that when they come and want to be there, we're accepting of them. And then, like I've been saying all along, that awareness. When they need to know about you so that they can want to come there.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. Great. And the same question will go to you, Ian. You will have 75 seconds to answer your question. And if you're ready, go for it.
Yes, absolutely. Diversity is very important to me. Inclusion is very, very important to me, especially if it's on the basis of race, age, or gender. If you cast a wide net, you can get a lot of diverse opinions, and diversity will make the organization a lot more rich, a lot more inclusive. When I was Interfraternity Council Vice President Internal, we suffered from a lack of membership, and it hurt us socially, culturally, and economically. And financials aren't always the bottom line, but that was one of the main reasons why we had to overhaul our membership retention process, and it was hurting the overall social culture of the Interfraternity Council. And as the 1L rep for the Phi Alpha Delta law fraternity at my campus, I had to rally fellow 1Ls to membership, and it increased the amount of diversity and the amount of ideas and the diversity of ideas in the organization. One thing that I would love to do is work with the the delegate of diversity and inclusion, and do a social media campaign, #DoYouABA, to get a lot of students who may be on Twitter to see what the virtues of premium membership are, and to cast a wide net and reach a lot of students in a lot of different areas.
Got it. Great, great. You have 10 seconds in the bank. Okay, great. Thank you, all three of you. Great. And then last but not least, William, you talked about awareness, right? Sort of creating an awareness about the ABA, right? And doing that sort of at the school level, and letting people, encouraging people to become aware of the benefits that the ABA has to offer and all this sort of thing. If you could talk a little bit more about how you would foster that awareness, and how you think you and your role as a vice chair, how you could promote some of that awareness, both at your school and at others, obviously. And go for it.
Yeah, sure. I'm externing this summer with the Judge Advocate General of the North Carolina National Guard. And so we're having a little class about it and discussing all our different things. And this girl said at her externship, they just gave her something and told her to know what to do. I said, well, if you were like me and sounded stupid, they would know you didn't know what to do. And so I'm just here to tell you, I do not know everything. I can try and, trial and error kind of thing, but I know that the ABA reps are the boots on the ground. I can come in and say, I have a few ideas. I want to let's see how this plays out. But I think if I were to have the honor of serving in this position, I would want to talk to them and say, what do you think is going to work at your school? I would want to talk to Mr. Artis and say, what's going to work at Savannah? I would want to talk to people across the country and say, what is going to work there? There's not one thing that's going to bring awareness all across the country. So my thing would be to be a facilitator.
Okay, great, great. Thank you very much, William. And next we will have Ian, who will answer that very same question. Ian, you will have 70 seconds if you choose to use it. Okay, and go.
Absolutely. If elected, one thing that I pledge to do is work with and for people in a servant leadership capacity and not just tell them what I think is best. So I do want to work with ABA reps around the country. I do want to work with the delegate of diversity and inclusion and the delegate of communications and get some ideas generated on how we can best reach law students across the country. I would love to do it. This is large scale, but I would love to do a national survey that has several aims to ID students who haven't joined yet, whether free or premium, and ask them why they haven't joined yet. Maybe we can remedy some issues that they feel are going on. Maybe they feel like there's a lack of transparency. Maybe they feel like they don't really know what's going on with the ABA. They don't really know what we do to increase membership numbers. And I would love to ask students who have premium memberships, why did they get one? Maybe we can take a common theme, a common thread, and increase the likelihood that students will sign up for premium memberships. And like I said, I would love to do a social media campaign. Twitter is free and it's wide reaching and my generation uses it a lot. So why not do hashtag #DoYouABA to show for students who are involved with the ABA, this is what I do in the ABA, do you ABA? And then have established lawyers who have worked for the ABA for a long time or who have worked within the ABA for a long time, use hashtag #YesIABA, and they can show what, okay, excellent.
Great, thank you very much. Excellent. And
I don't know how to Twitter. I just want to say that.
What's that? Say that again.
I said I have no idea how to Twitter. Someone's going to teach me how to do that.
That's okay. I don't either, but we know people. We've heard of people who do. Tijuana, how about you? What do you have to say about creating that awareness?
Yes, I am glad that William said he doesn't know Twitter, and Ian said he does, because that's the whole purpose of the vice chair of the ABA, to find who needs what and meet them where they are. I believe vice chair should bring awareness through enthusiasm, having this job and not just saying like this is what you need to do. I was ABA rep. Everyone at my school know that I pushed ABA like it was bread and water, because I was benefited from it and I wanted people to know that they can benefit from it too, whether it's free or it's premium. So like my fellow candidate said, I would love to work with all ABA reps. I would love to work with William and Ian to make sure that everybody is hyped and excited and have the love for the ABA like I do. But yes, I echo everything that they just said, because that was some amazing ideas.
Okay, great. And you have 3 seconds in the bank. All right, great. Okay, now then, oh no, actually you have, I'm sorry, you have 16 seconds in the bank. Okay, great. So now, next question is not meant to put you guys on the spot at all, but it is something that I'm sure some people would like to know. And that is, this is a position that's, vice chair, like what is that, right? Who knows, right? Like it's not something that one intuitively understands what that is, right? But of course, there's ways to find out. So, quick 60 seconds, and in your case, Tijuana 76, if you choose to use them. What kind of research have you done in terms of looking into what this position entails and what the limits of what it can or cannot accomplish, and what you're likely to be able to accomplish in this position? What sort of research have you done, and what sort of background research have you conducted?
Well, of course, I looked at the description of the vice chair to ensure that I knew what I was running for. But I also looked at the description of all of the other the council members to see what their position entailed and how I'm supposed to work in collaboration with them. And I do know that in the absence of some council members, the vice chair takes that role. And so I had to make myself aware of not just the position I was running for, but what does a chairperson so what is he or she supposed to do, or the education director. But I also researched the standing committee of membership and see what their role is in the entire ABA to ensure that I am doing something that's aligned with the mission of the entire ABA to increase membership for the law student division.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Tijuana. All right, and that gives us you have 26 extra seconds there. Great, in total. Okay, great. Now, I believe next up is William, if I'm not mistaken. And you can let me know if my round robin here is incorrect. But William, same question goes to you.
I can't know if you're incorrect or not because I don't know your methodology here. So
that's all right. That's all right.
So, are you ready for me to start?
Yes, sir. I am. Go for it.
Okay. You know, I read the duties on the thing, and like Tijuana was saying, Ms. Barnes was saying that, you know, kind of tried to see how it coordinated with the other things, the standing committee on membership. First of all, I wanted to make sure it was something that I thought I was capable of doing because I recognize, you know, my limitations. I'm a people person. I love dealing with people. I know that I can, you know, press the flesh and talk with folks. And everybody has talked about this southern drawl I got. I said maybe it's got a little bit of an attachment with folks where they might want to do something. I can talk them into a little something. But I know I love helping people. That's something, much to my parents' dismay, when I stop and pull over and help people on the side of the road. But, you know, if I can help people across the country accomplish their job as an ABA rep, that's what I want to do. I said, you know, whatever they need in their role as an ABA rep, that's what I want to do.
Okay, great. Thank you, William, very much.
They must not be nearly as long-winded as I am. I ain't had no extra time this whole round.
He can take my extra time. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. Give him my 26 seconds.
That's more hard.
This is beautiful. Okay, great. Ian, I have the same question for you. Go ahead.
Of course, I read the description and I read all over the ABA website in addition to find common threads to see where this position would fit in to the greater framework and the greater goals of all the different standing committees in the ABA at large. I looked at the hierarchy to see where the vice chair fits in, to see the scope and the limitations of what they should be doing. I definitely read up on all the conferences that the vice chair needs to attend to get kind of a sense of the workload and what should be done and what goals should be met by each conference. And I started generating ideas on how best to work with everyone who's already in the council and how best to work with the new positions that were already created, like that have just been created, like education director, starting a small manageable project with each delegate, like the delegate of communications, the delegate of diversity and inclusion, to get something done nationally with each position.
Great. All right, thank you, Ian. You were 5 seconds short, so you get yourself another 5 seconds down the road there. Great. Okay, super. And so the next question is, you'll have each have 30 seconds, with the exception of Tijuana, who might have 30 plus 26 seconds, and Ian, who might have 35 seconds. But you'll each otherwise have 30 seconds to answer the following question. Can you name one thing in your past, in your experience, that makes you particularly well suited to this position? Okay, just one thing. And, oh, I'm sorry, Ian goes first. And whenever you're ready.
One thing that makes me particularly well suited was the fact that I was vice president internal of the Interfraternity Council. I'm very proud of that. And we were suffering from a decline in membership. And so not only did I create a new membership structure on the biggest day of the year for membership recruitment, I also was an innovator, and I decided to get us nationally certified with the National Interfraternity Council to get us more access to resources, to get us more access to training, so that I left the organization better than I found it, in order to prevent us from ever coming as close as we did to having a major deficit in terms of lack of members. So I'm very proud that I saw a problem, I fixed it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And again, I want to commend all of you guys on your cooperation with the timing thing. I know it's really hard to get all of your ideas out, and we appreciate your willingness to work with us. Okay, great. And so the next one, I believe, goes to, if I'm not mistaken, goes to William. William, you will have 30 seconds to answer this question. Cool, and whenever you're ready.
You know, it's hard for me to pick just one thing because I've not had a lot of vast experience with different things in my life, but you know, I've had some experience with sales and I've had different things, but I think, you know, I've had a lot of experience in my life that has taught me humility. And I think being humble is the best way to serve others. And like I say, that's my only goal. I want to help other people, and anything I can do serve the ABA reps throughout the country. That's my goal.
Okay, great. 30 seconds. You must have a timer. Yeah. All right. Next, we have Tijuana, who will answer Tijuana will answer the same question with 56 seconds. And whenever you're ready to.
I want to go all the way back to my undergrad days, many years ago. We did not have a Pi Sigma Alpha political science honor political science honor society on campus. There was no membership. It was absolutely nothing. And I wanted to find a way to honor those students who were excellent in my major. So I recharted the chapter. I single-handedly recharted the chapter, and we were able to bring in new members at the school. And after that, students were able to be recognized for their honors in political science. So that's one thing. You asked me for one thing. Aside from the fact that I was a successful ABA rep last year, that is the one thing that I would like to highlight, that there was no membership, and I made sure that we did have membership.
Okay, great. And that's right on the money there. Great. Thank you very much for that answer. And great. Super. Okay, great. Next question is, sometimes I find that sometimes people are just curious about a person's background. Obviously your resume or CV or whatever it was part of your application, but sometimes people just want to know, what kind of law does this person want to go into practicing? Just sort of a little bit more about who you are. So if you just tell us, 20 seconds, real briefly, what do you plan to do when you get out of law school? Obviously, you won't be a law student forever. Nobody can afford to, right? So, Tijuana, you get to go first. You get to go. You get your 20 seconds. So, we'll just wait just a moment. 20 seconds and go.
I want to make education a fundamental right. Period. For everyone. That's it.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Excellent. All right. And that was only 10 seconds. Okay. And excuse me, just a moment. I'm just keeping track here. Okay. Great. And next we have Ian, who will answer the next question. Let's see here. And okay, Ian, same question for you.
I would love to practice energy law or international law and do pro bono work for victims of domestic violence and their families.
Great. Okay. Whole bunch of efficiency going on here. I can barely keep up with my timer. You guys are so efficient. All right. Let's see here. Okay, and that is all right. Great. So you get 11 seconds in addition. So you're 16 seconds ahead. Okay, great. Next question for William. And William, go for it.
I really like wills and trusts. I'm in Campbell's master's program to go along, master's in trust and wealth management. But, like I said, I've had some health problems, and education was difficult for me getting through public school systems. I've always said, no matter what I do in life, I will do for free, help people get through the education and public school system.
Gotcha. Great. All right, great. Thank you all for that answer. Great. I'm just curious if you all have, and it's okay if you haven't, obviously, but if you've looked at some of the goals and initiatives of the big ABA, what we refer to as the big ABA, in other words, beyond just the law student division, but the ABA writ large, there's certain goals that the ABA has set forth as its goals. And I'm just curious if you have looked at them, and if so, what are your thoughts? Again, this is not putting you on the spot. If you haven't, you can talk about anything else you like. And you will each get 1 minute to do so, okay? And let's see here. We will start with, I think we're up to William to start now. Okay, William, you get a minute to talk about this. So, and whenever you're ready.
I'll finally get some bank time. I have looked at them. I have had thoughts on them, but unless I have it written down in front of me, I do not remember at this point in time in my life. But I promise you, I've looked at them.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us that you would like voters to know? Since you have some extra time, you just want to bank it.
Yeah, let's bank it. Hey, this will be the first thing for me.
Okay. Great. All right. Super. If I'm not mistaken, that's an extra 40 seconds. I think we are rolling to Ian now. So Ian, next, same question for you.
I briefly looked over them. It was quite some time ago, but from what I read, it looked like the goals and missions of the larger ABA were to increase networking, advance the profile of the profession, maintain the integrity of the profession, which I think are all incredible goals or beautiful goals. I think that one thing that the ABA does is very much so maintain the integrity of the profession, especially since there's access to resources on how to conduct yourself professionally as a lawyer. And I think that one thing that people have in their minds is that lawyers are all like Better Call Saul, and they're all kind of sketchy people who are really looking out for their own interests. And I think that one thing that the ABA does really well is to show, hey, we're not all Better Call Sauls, and we'll get you if you are.
Got it. Super, super. And you get to bank an extra 12 seconds there. Okay, great. And so you have 12 plus 16. Gotcha. You guys are making me do too much math here. Okay, great. And next we have Tijuana, who will get 1 minute plus 10 seconds. So you'll get 70 seconds to answer the same question whenever you're ready.
Just like the fellow candidates, it's very difficult to remember everything on the spot. But I do like and would like to research a little bit more about the rule of law initiative, that with international law trying to have stable governments and equal rights for everyone. So I would be interested in learning a little bit more about that. ABA Day, coming to DC and making sure that the voices of the lawyers are heard. And also I like the push for diversity and inclusion, and that's something that I actually wasn't asking, saying earlier, but I do know the sad history of the ABA and when it was created, and I do love the fact that they are trying to put an effort into having diversity in this profession, whether it is racial, disability, socioeconomic class, for them to the legal education section to start accrediting.
Keep going. Keep going.
Okay, giving accreditation to more law schools so students can have access to legal education. So I've researched a lot of stuff, but I think the rule of law is something I really, really want to research.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Got it. So did all three of you get to answer that question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Super, super. Okay. So great. So we are, great. So Ian, you have 28 extra seconds, and William, you have 40 seconds, and Tijuana, you're at base level again. Okay, great. All right, super. So the next question is just a follow-up to something that you were just saying a moment ago. So, by the way, it's okay if you hadn't looked at them, because I could not have recited them to you either at this stage last year. But one of the goals of the ABA that the ABA has set out is what we affectionately call Goal 3, right? And Goal 3 has to do with increasing diversity and inclusion, right? And so I want to just follow up on that, but ask sort of another spin on relating to diversity and inclusion. So I'd like to ask you sort of a theoretical question, which is, obviously, you have different groups of people with different backgrounds, right? And obviously, law school may not be as diverse as schools may not be as diverse as they could be, but they are still diverse, right? You're going to be working with people from many different kinds of backgrounds, right? As has been mentioned. Sometimes people, not just demographic backgrounds, but even just personality styles don't gel, right? This year, our Board of Governors for the Law Student Divisions seems to have worked very, very well together. We all like each other. By and large, we work well together. But I've been in student government for a long time, and I know that doesn't always happen, right? So I would like to hear from each of you, and you get each 2 minutes to answer this one, because it's probably an important one. And of course, William, you get 2 minutes, 40 seconds if you like, and Ian, you get 2 minutes and 28 seconds. I would like to hear from each of you. How do you handle situations where you have a personality conflict with someone, and yet there's still important work to do? What are your thoughts about that? And if you'd like to even give an example without naming names of how you've dealt with that in the past. I think some people would be interested in hearing about your approaches to these things. Okay, so the first person to go will be Tijuana. And Tijuana, whenever you're ready. Are you still there?
Thank you.
Oh, there you are.
Yes, I have a strong personality, so I totally understand this. But as the ABA rep, I was voted by my student body, and I had to make sure that I remove my personality and my wants and my desires away from the goal of the ABA rep. And I also believe the same thing as vice chair. If the school-based leaders vote me as vice chair, they're not voting me for my personal beliefs, but because what they feel like I can do for the ABA as a whole. So when I'm in a situation where I feel disrespected or I'm not communicating with someone properly, I have to remove myself and say, I am not here as Tijuana. I am here as the ABA rep. And I am here as vice chair. And the people who voted for me would not want me to put my personal feelings and my personal thoughts into their position. So it's about removing myself from the situation. And at my previous job, they had this thing called the 24-hour rule, where you have to approach the person within 24 hours and say, hey, we had a disagreement. Can we discuss it? Can we squash it? And if you feel like you couldn't do that in 24 hours, you just have to let it go. And I think that's a good way of giving yourself a time to address the situation at hand. But then if it's not in a good enough time, you need to just let it go. So remove yourself from the situation and approach the person privately within a reasonable amount of time.
Got it. All right, and so you have 30 seconds to spare. Okay, great. Now I believe next up is William. William, you will have 2 minutes and 40 seconds if you so choose. And whenever you're ready, you may begin to answer the same question.
I am a lover, not a fighter. People ask me what kind of law I want to practice, and I say one where I do not have to step foot in a courtroom. And they'll say, why not? And I say, because I detest contention. I'm the kind of person where, I have opinions just like everyone else, but I realize that those people have opinions as well. And I just respect the fact that they, can form a cognizant opinion. So, like where I'm working today, they're in the military, and our president has rescinded the rights of transgender individuals to serve in the military, and they were all, everyone had an opinion on it. One thought this, one thought that, and I thought I was going to go down to the PX and buy me a Gatorade because I did not want to be there in the middle of that. I'm just one where I eventually, when I come back and they were still talking about it, I decided I would help them change the subject. I'm just not one to be in contention, and I have that kind of personality where I can change the subject and they'll eventually forget that they were. I just have that way about me. People have told me before. They said, Will Gray, my name is one that you cannot call me Will. I have to be called Will Gray, I guess. But people will tell me, Will Gray, you could sell oil to a snake. So I respect everyone's opinion. I don't want to tell you mine. Don't tell me yours. If you do tell me yours, that's fine. I'm just not going to sit there and discuss it with you unless that's part of our job, and I'm going to be very respectful of it. I'm just not, that's not my personality. I was a political science major in undergrad, like Tijuana said she was, and one of my professors said, in this classroom, we don't get heated about things, and I had one, he was from Korea, and he said, I'm a foreigner. I don't have any stake in this. I don't care what y'all think. So it was good learning experience on ways to kind of table your personal thoughts and have an adult discussion about things. And I've kind of gone with that in my life. And I said, no one will ever know any political leanings that I might or might not have because it leads to too much contention. And so I just roll with the flow. And I try to take that approach, and I find you make more friends that way. We were in class one day after the election, and everyone was upset and all this stuff, and this teacher said, well, I don't vote in line with my family. I said, me neither. My family votes in line with me. And everybody laughed, and we just kept right on trucking. So
Okay, right on the money time-wise. Okay, next I believe we have, I think Ian is next, if I'm not mistaken. Ian, what's your answer to that same question? You have 2 minutes and 28 seconds, if you like.
Absolutely. Will and I actually take a completely different approach. I love engaging in political discourse. I love engaging in discussion that may be led by opinion, but I'm a firm believer that nothing ever has to get personal and nothing ever has to get contentious. So when things are when a hot button topic is brought up, I believe in de-escalation and mediation. I'm taking a business negotiations and a global environment class here, and we have to be very culturally sensitive. Here being Oxford University, I'm studying abroad currently. And we had a negotiation in which someone was very, very heated. Personal insults were dropped. Some very inappropriate language was used. And I took the time to take control of the situation and turn it into a learning moment. Why are we so upset? What are our interests here? What stake do we have in this? Why are we so upset? Like, let's take a step back. Let's kind of freeze the moment and just kind of move back a little bit and say, hey, what's really going on here? Conflict resolution and mediation and dispute resolution is something that I very firmly believe in, because hard conversations need to be had. Hard conversations need to be had. Oh, absolutely. And some of the hardest, some of the most important conversations, the most vital conversations are the most difficult to have. And so, may I keep going?
Yes, by all means. You have time.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Lots of it.
And I go to a law school where people are very liberally aligned, and I have a very outspoken conservative classmate who's quite outspoken and very openly supports legislation that may be seen as harmful to some people. And he'll take any opportunity that he can to be very derisive, to throw pejorative terms out. And every time he does it, I steer the conversation in a more productive way. I try to teach that student that a more productive political discourse, we call it productive civil discourse in rhetoric, can be had. So I firmly believe in conflict resolution. Like I said, difficult conversations need to be had. There's a diverse wealth of opinions that will be elected to represent different sections of the ABA and the Law Student Division. And if elected, I will make sure that I can work with all of the other students to help mediate conflict, because conflict does arise.
Okay, great. Thank you. You have, 25 seconds still in the bank. Okay, great.
Great.
And Tijuana, wait, you answered that question, right? Hello?
Yes, I did.
You did. Okay, great. Super.
Yes.
Okay, super. Okay, now then, the next question, just following up on some of what was just said. So let's just say that you know, sometimes you do have to take a stand about something, for something or against something, and sometimes that's not easy to do. Sometimes you might even have to take a stand about something. Let's just say, for example, two scenarios, right? One scenario is the big ABA wants to do one thing and the Law Student Division wants to do a different thing, right, in one scenario. Or a different scenario is the Law Student Division wants to do one thing and then you personally want to do something different. So I'm wondering if each of you can sort of talk about sort of that conflict, because there is conflict there and you have to deal with that conflict, right? And so how do you, or would you, deal with those kinds of conflicts? And I think we go to Ian first. And Ian, you will have 1 minute plus 25 seconds. So that is 1 minute and 25 seconds. And you can, I'm sorry, I have to reset my time. Apologize. Okay, you can go whenever you're ready.
Sorry, I had to unmute. Yeah, I think that something that I would definitely keep in mind if elected is that it's never the Law Student Division versus the ABA. It's never one party versus another. It's always we're working together. So if there is contention because there's one idea and another idea that aren't quite meshing, we can take the best of both and create something that is beautiful and that works for everyone. It's always about expanding the pie, as we say in business negotiations world. It's always about seeing what we can do together. My style of leadership is servant leadership, so it's all about working in the best interest of the greater good. So it's never one party versus another. It's let's talk about our interests and come to a solution using objective criteria that can work best for all parties to achieve our goal.
Okay, great. You might Okay, this will be our last question, then we're going to have a wrap-up question because we're getting to the end here. Just so you know, you gained yourself another 14 seconds there. All right, great. Next we have Tijuana, same question. You have 90 seconds to answer it, and whenever you're ready.
Yes, I believe that education is the key to everything. And sometimes when we have disagreements, it's because we don't fully understand the position of the other person. So if we read the resolutions, if we read where the other side is coming from, whether it's the quote big ABA versus the law school division or the law student division versus myself, I need to sit back and educate myself on why they want to pass this resolution or why this is important before I can say I'm against it or I'm for it. And if I'm against something, or if the law student division is against something, just like Ian said, we can try to figure a way to work together, because at the end of the day, we're in the same profession and we have a common goal. So it like he said, also, Ian, you're doing amazing, by the way. But like but I do believe that there's a way that we can solve our problems. There's a way that we can come together for one common goal through education, and not just cutting people off where you see fit, but actually taking a step back and internalizing their position before you make a judgment. William, you're doing great too. I apologize.
We're all doing wonderful. Thank you for your time, Renee.
All right, thank you. All right, so next we have, let's see, plus 17. So you still are ahead by 17 seconds. Okay, great. William, same question goes to you whenever you're ready.
And I have how much time?
You got 60 seconds.
So as far as, the law student division, I steer away from personal conflict. I may have been a little confusing in my answer, but, when I'm assigned to do something, I just pull myself up by my bootstraps and face it head on. If it was the law student division versus the big ABA, or however we say it, I'm there to represent the law student division. That would be my job. As far as myself versus the law student division, there would be none of that. I would not be there to represent myself. I'm there to represent those that sent me there. I would have no personal opinion in it whatsoever. If I felt personally different about it, I would have to have a talk with myself, and say, sorry, this is not what you're there to do. You're not there to insert your personal opinion into this. You are there to represent these individuals that voted for you, and you need to carry out what they want. You need to vote how they would want you to do. So I'm there to fulfill my duties, whether it be representing the law student division in the overall ABA or representing those individuals who voted for me within the law student division.
Great. All right. Thank you, William. And did all three of you answered that question? That's right. Great. So the next question is, and we're starting to wrap up. We'll have two super quick questions, right? We started a little bit after the hour, but we're going to try to end as close to the hour as we can. Each one of you is going to get 15 seconds. William, you get 15. Tijuana, you get 15 plus 17 plus 30. I'll let you do the math. And Ian, you get 15 seconds. You get let's see, 29 seconds plus 25 seconds. All right, great. And so the first one will be William. Your 15-second question is: we've all been listening to each other for the past 54 minutes or so. Can you name me at least one thing that you've learned from your fellow candidates? And whenever you're ready.
They're much better spoken than I am. I'm probably not nearly as qualified as they are. I would be very happy with any of the people here tonight serving in this position, and I wish them the best of luck.
Thank you.
Great, super. And the next question goes to Tijuana. Same question, Tijuana. You get 15 plus 30 plus 17 seconds if you choose to use them.
Yes. So William is very outspoken. He is very personable. I like that about him. And he is not afraid to be who he is. He's William, and I think that's a good quality in a leader, being who you are. I think Ian is very intelligent, very articulate, very educated and motivated. I believe, like just like William said, we are all qualified. I've been doing this for a couple of years now, but I also like to step back and see the goodness in everybody else. And like William said, I would love to be vice chair, but I will not be sad if someone else that's on this panel gets it.
Okay, great, super. And so we're winding down to the end here, but Ian, you get to answer this question next. Go for it. You get well, 14 plus 20, 14, 15. You get about a minute.
Okay. One thing I'm sorry?
We'll just round it off. Go ahead.
Okay. One thing that I've learned about William is his personality style and approach to conflict, and how he's dealt with adversity, which I really, really respect. I think some of us get dealt some blows in life, and I really respect the way that he's dealt with his, and he's overcome it, and how he wants to give back. And same with Ms. Barnes. I like how innovative she is. I love the ideas that you've been coming up with today. They're awesome, and you're very well experienced too. So I love the experience that everyone brings, and the ideas that everyone's been bringing. And like everyone else has said, I would love to work with all of you in some capacity one day, whether it's here, whether it's somewhere else. And I think that the position is in good hands, no matter who gets it.
Okay, great. Now each of you will get just 10 seconds, and that's all we have left. 10 seconds to share with us anything that you really wanted folks to know that you did not get a chance to get off, get off your chest and communicate. And you have 10 seconds to do that. And let's see, Ian, you'll go first. Whenever you're ready.
One thing that I actually have mentioned a lot, but I just want to reiterate, is my style of leadership is servant leadership. It's not me at the head of a room telling people what to do. It's me working with people, working for people, and never forgetting that I need to be representing the best interests of people who elected me.
Great, super. Thank you very much. And we'll have the same question from William, and then I guess Tijuana will get the last word. So William, go ahead and share with us 10 seconds of what you really wanted folks to know.
I'm just so grateful for this opportunity. I think I've said it in an email. I'm just a country boy, and I never expected anything like this. And I'm just grateful to be here. Thankful to you for moderating. Thankful to these two for putting up with me. Thank you for the compliments, and I'm going to hush now. Thank all of y'all.
Okay, great. And next we have Tijuana, who will get 10 seconds to share with us her last words.
Yes, I'm very grateful to be in this position to run for vice chair, and I want every student at your school to be able to have the same experiences that I've had. Thank you.
Okay, great. And that wraps us up. We started a few minutes after the hour. We've been going for about 59 minutes or so. I want to thank all three of you for spending so much of your time and to apply and I've gone through a similar process. Really, really grateful to all three of you, and I really, truly do mean that. I would be happy to have any one of you three as my vice chair as well. So thank you all for your time. Thank you for the time that anyone who is watching this now or in the future will have taken to watch it. And I wish everybody a good night.
Thank you.
You too.
Best of luck.
Thank you.